I honestly thought foldable phones were pointless, too expensive, too fragile, and just a gimmick. You really think it's kind of a two-in-one, a tablet and a phone, but when am I ever really gonna need a tablet when I have my phone anyway? Are you really gonna need a tablet all the time just to view content on the train? You also just think maybe it's a bit of a flex. It is really expensive for what it is. And the folding isn't really necessary. You could just get a big phone, and there are a lot of really large phones that have wonderful displays, like the Samsung Galaxy Ultra. Fantastic display, and it's not that expensive relatively. And most people who buy these sorts of things are motivated to flex, not really geared towards productivity. And I certainly thought, and you might think as well, it'll break really quickly. The inner screen is quite fragile, quite soft. The hinge is a masterpiece of engineering, but it is a slight weakness structurally, especially when you consider a slab phone as the alternative. But the daily shift is actually quite monumental, especially when you get one in your hands and start using it day to day. Multitasking becomes so natural to use, and it's so easy to open a few tabs together. For me, it's normally YouTube in the Notes app or something like that, and it makes research a breeze. And it's one of those products that makes you feel like you can work anywhere. You don't just need to be at a desk, which is where I like to be most of the time, but you can realistically do this sort of work in the park or relaxing at home in front of the sofa. And it feels like you can do this work absolutely anywhere. I used to be one of the people that would have to sit at a desk to do any sort of work. But with my folding phone, I can quite happily watch some TV or even go to the park and get something done. And actually, I was forced into using this as a mini PC almost. I went to India and I forgot my laptop. So I was forced to use it as a PC for work for 2 weeks. And it actually held up pretty well. I got an external Bluetooth keyboard and I was able to do some PowerPoints, Word documentation, some light Excel work, and use it for Teams calls all day long. And it was absolutely fine. Dex mode was a real savior. Content feels calmer, not just bigger. And it is so much more immersive having a bigger screen to watch content on. It really draws you in. The screen is absolutely amazing. It's 120 Hz OLED, and if gaming is your thing, once you go folding, you can never go back. But for content too, it is fantastic. And you use your phone differently without even trying. For me personally, whenever I cook, I normally watch along a YouTube recipe and pause it and play it when I need to. And I just found myself playing it and kicking it up on the stand so that I could watch what I was making whilst actually preparing it. And it seemed like I do this almost every other day. Another feature that I absolutely loved was using the cover display when taking a picture so that the other people that I'm actually taking the picture of can see how they want to line themselves up. It was really helpful, and it seemed to be a people pleaser as well, because every time I would put it on, everyone would be like, oh wow, that's amazing. And for me, it completely replaced my iPad. I never really used my iPad that much anyway. It was basically just a nighttime Netflix machine. But I can do that now on my phone, and it actually stands up really easily, and I can use my phone for a bunch of other stuff as well. It's not really about doing more, it's about feeling less cramped. So what then are the trade-offs? Well, the battery. The battery is a problem. You have that big, beautiful 120 Hz OLED screen, but that absolutely demolishes your battery life. And the charging speed is fine, just fine though. It's going to top you off in about an hour and a half from almost empty, but the battery anxiety is real. On a typical day when I'm working in the city, if I come home by about 5 or 6 p.m, my phone is struggling to be above 30%, and it's even worse if I've gone out with some friends afterwards. And the cameras are compromised. Thickness is the enemy of a great camera, but it also turns out that all consumers want their phone to be as thin as possible. And because of this, when the fold is actually folded out, it's just too thin for the lenses that fit the Samsung Ultra, for example. Samsung just can't fit it in. Low light struggles to be consistent, especially if you're shooting handheld. But there are some really nifty tricks that you can actually use. For example, your phone is basically a tripod wherever it wants, because you can just fold it in half and lay it on a bench or something like that. And those produce a really good picture. If you give the sensor enough light, it will take a good picture. Comfort increases massively when using the phone. When you're obviously gaming or watching content, you can unfurl that massive OLED screen, and it's a real joy to get immersed in your content that way. But on the flip side, if you're on the go and you want to use the phone one-handed, well, you can text really easily due to its narrow shape. But I must confess, I use the phone mostly folded up, and that's just because I like to do things one-handed and it reduces the battery anxiety. But it is absolutely unmatched in certain tasks, like multitasking. There is no other device out there like it. And if you're a person that really likes a tablet, but just can't carry one around all day, well, this is really the best of both worlds. It is very much attuned for the power user who uses it for maybe productivity, work, and then some personal use as well. And it makes you use your phone in completely different ways. And it's quite cool when you get that aha moment when you can flip your phone into a tripod and get that perfect picture, for example. It's really great, but I stick solemnly to the phrase that once you go fold, you can never go back. But that made me ask a bigger question. What is good enough now? Not on paper, but in real life. And so next I'll be exploring the Apple ecosystem and how that has helped me progress to even greater lengths of productivity.